Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to a slightly later in the week episode of Immortality than I was intending, or I suppose you could say earlier in the because we have sort of wrapped around to next week at this point. We are in a position here that I think is very weird, where we have a ton of information now, but I don't really know what to make of it, and I mean that in two different ways. First of all, we kind of sort of have a lot of information about what these beings are, but not specifically like, what do we do with that? Right? Is it just we hear a story about how they're weird and they exist and they killed and replaced some people, but like what? But what of it? The second thing is, if you remember the how do I know when I'm satisfied story that I was talking about last time, I am definitely thinking there's probably not going to be some kind of like big climactic sequence here. At some point, we're just going to have to decide that we got what we came for. And I think I kind of know where I am at that, on that. So let's talk about it this way. What happened? What is the story of this archive of footage? It would seem to be the case that there is this... I'm looking at the order of the clips now and like kind of like rearranging things in my head even as I'm beginning to talk. But there's this being, and she is like fascinated by humans and the art they produce. And she wants to be in pictures, in theory, shows up in the guise of this young lady, Sophia Morgana, which is like an almost unbearably dramatic name. So, kind of makes sense. During the course of filming, Sophia Morgana, or the being, becomes like fascinated by this other woman, Marissa Marcel, and at some point kills and replaces her. Approximately this point, right? Kills and replaces her. After this, at some point later, presumably, the film is scuttled. It's either unable to be completed or it's not. It's just simply not released. It certainly is suggested that it is unable to be completed because, like, in theory, their Sophia Morgana went missing, right? Because she changed forms. But actually, we don't know that for sure. We don't have any shots of... we don't have any clips from past this point in the movie. These are in date order, right? Yes. Okay, so we don't have any clips from beyond this point where Sophia is present, I don't think. Right, this is just Robert and the devil. And this is Marcel and Robert in the graveyard. So it is possible that, that the Sophia just disappeared. But the thing is, we know that under some circumstances, the backwards lady seems to be able to become two different bodies at once, given what we know about the third movie. That's very strange. I don't have that part figured out yet. But continuing to move on, whatever reason, this movie is not released. The director of photography on this film goes on to write and direct a new movie casting Marissa Marcel because he has like 100% become entranced with her, potentially due to the fact that she is this other being, like potentially whatever it is about the other being has ensorcelled him, or maybe he was really into real Marissa before she got replaced. Who knows? Doesn't really matter, I don't think. So he writes and directs this film with the intention of having her star in it. The backwards lady's friend from down the block shows up and wants to join in, takes over this Carl Greenwood. At some point during this, the lady reveals herself to John. John does not handle it very well, and she kills and replaces him from that point. However, critical to note, she is still at this point. It seems like she is both Marissa and John, right? And that remains the case forever, at least to the end of our archive. So but what is it? So the film doesn't actually come out because Carl Greenwood is gone. Carl Greenwood got replaced by the other guy, and then Marissa killed the other guy for Durick's sake or whatever. And it doesn't super matter. But the important part is after the other one is killed, there's no more Carl Greenwood, and so the film does not occur. Then, 20 years later, so here's the thing I don't think we do know. Has John Durick been making movies in the interim? We know that Marissa Marcel hadn't, but I don't think we know for sure whether John Durick had also gone dormant. And it's worth noting that Backwards Lady appears on this talk show 2 years after Minsky doesn't come out, or I guess a year and a half, in the guise of John Durick talking shit. So presumably she had not intended to disappear, but she had stopped playing the Marissa persona, publicly at least, and so it seemed that Marissa had gone into hiding. Then, for whatever reason, 27 years later, she decides it's time to do a movie, and I'm going to bring both of my bodies. And then something happens with this movie as well. This is the big piece we don't know. This is where I was headed with all this. There's this thing, which is very curious. But most critically, we just don't know what happened with this movie. And that's the piece of the story that I think is still missing. So if we're in a place where we're basically going to have to determine for ourselves when we're satisfied, I am not satisfied until I at least know how it ended. Unfortunately, I have no fucking idea how to look for that. Because if we search Marissa's face, it's just going to bounce us all over the place. We can keep searching Zoe. But I feel like we looped on Zoe real bad, didn't we? Haven't we seen all the clips that Zoe is in? Here, let's jump into this and watch this clip from the beginning again.
Scene 37 Alpha, take 3.
That member of the crew might be useful.
Wait, fucking Apple.
You reset it.
It's wrong. Arrangement is wrong.
So that's John, right? Yeah.
Apple was good. Action.
Elevator ding.
This will let you use the elevator and access your suite.
Does Frank need one too?
We have separate quarters for your staff. You'll have this entire floor to yourself. It's private and very quiet. The card will also give you access to the rooftop pool, which you should enjoy anytime you like.
Great. Is this real?
It is.
When we first watched this, we didn't know what that meant, right?
We will need you for fitting at 5, and then it'll be on to the show.
Sounds good.
See you then.
Holy shit.
Cut.
Marissa, you okay?
Okay, so it's not clear what the off-screen noise is there. It's pretty easy to interpret like the cut, the sound of feet on floor right around where he's saying cut as like John rising to his feet, getting out of the director's chair. But then there's another noise that could be a step, but it could be like a fall. Zoe looks back and is concerned. And when he said cut there, I think you could interpret that as concern. But it was a little weird, right? Like not like astonished concern, but there's that quality to it where it's like cut, and it could also be that something's wrong with him at the same time, right? If something has befallen Backwards Lady, then potentially it affects both the bodies. We still know very little about this part where she's two people. But I think the thing to do here first, most obviously.
Blood egg keeps the doctor away. If you throw it hard enough. The apple and snake were my idea. This isn't going to work.
I mean, she's clearly got a mouthful of blood there, right? Like, she's definitely behaving like she's got a mouthful. So, the other one's not dead. I mean, she said she killed him, though, right? There was a conversation with John while she was choking John out where John said he's dead and she said perhaps. And obviously there she could have been lying. But then when the interview clip, she said she killed him in the interrogation room in that one multi-part clip. Right? Am I misremembering? Should be easy enough to find. Listen, let's I know this is a bit long, apologies, but
I've been in a few rooms like this one. Maybe this is a nice one.
we can accelerate her a bit here, though. The ultimate form of control is incarceration. I thought she was just talking about, like, you know, to cage an artist or whatever. But maybe she's saying that what actually happened is maybe the suggestion here is that she actually imprisoned the other one rather than killing him and at some point let him out.
You can judge a society by the quality.
Am I misremembering? Did she not say... I feel like she... I feel like she told us, she told the camera that she had killed the other one as well at some point. But now I fucking don't remember. And my notes are a little bit of a mess. Half of this is like written sideways on the sheet, and I did not necessarily do a great job of taking clear notes that would be useful to me in the long term. All right, let's keep looking. I really want to get more two of everything. I don't know what else to do though. We could maybe work off of her. Is there anything left with the apples? The apples are like very central to this film.
Time 4.
So it's just like a lot of apples in this movie. Yeah, this is new, right? Yeah.
Scene 55 Alpha, take 4.
Action.
Maria. Hey, girl.
Beautiful morning.
It is. Really is.
Percocet, a deadly combination with alcohol and a late-night swim. The NYPD have refused to confirm the presence of drugs, stating they are unable to disclose the details of an ongoing investigation. Her body will be flown back to Los Angeles later today, where we'll head to the county coroner's office for an autopsy. If you're just tuning in, we're reporting on the death of pop star Maria at the age of 25. We're continuing our coverage with Dr. Morty Biggs, here to talk to us about this.
Gary, it's Heather. I know. Gary, I know. Maria's dead.
Reset the TV, going for one more before we break for lunch.
That's the first time we've really seen John clearly in footage attached to this movie, right? He looks a little rough. He looks like a zombie.
What had happened to the other one was new. It pointed to a new possibility. Even as I was falling apart, I felt there was a way. How to be free of all flesh and become something more.
Okay. So when she told us she killed the other one, when she told John she killed the other one, she meant it, but something else occurred that she made. Well, I mean, it could be the case that it was a lie. At the time, she already knew something weird had happened. But whatever happened, he got better, you know? I need more what had happened to the other one. I know this is futile, but like... What is the difference? Like lips, yeah, okay, sure. What is the difference between these 2 points of interest?
Side taking a 2-page photo spread.
Well, I guess let's watch this, but that, obviously not hugely useful.
Scout for Frankie's apartment, exterior, scene 16.
This is his jacket. Feels nice. Goodman sits in the car watching the apartment, reading his book by flashlight, a biography of Caravaggio. Before the age of 25, the artist Caravaggio was sentenced to death for murder and fled Naples. He reads some more, turns the book on its side to take in a 2-page photo spread. Caravaggio never painted a female nude, and his sexualization of young men has led many to diagnose him as a homosexual. Sighs, shuts the book, checks his rearview mirror, checks his side mirror, sighs, takes a sip from his coffee, then notices movement on the street. A figure with a long coat, heavy bag. The figure walks into the apartment. Goodman pours his coffee out the window, screws the lid on his thermos. He waits a beat. Sees a light turn on the second floor. Santora's apartment. Quickly gets out of the car, jogs to the apartment, and cut. I'm going to seduce Carl Greenwood.
What a weird thing to feel like you need to tell your coworker. Anyway, I mean, I guess she's telling John, right? So this is like part is a thing. They're sharing information in their relationship. I guess that's heartwarming. I mean, listen. As a person who myself is poly, like, if you're in a relationship where like those are the rules, you do need to. It's not great necessarily. I guess everybody can negotiate this on their own, but it's not great necessarily to just like jump somebody and then later spring it on your partner like, hey, surprise. So I guess she's doing the considerate thing here.
The other one came back in New York. He was pissed at how we left things. Found my attempts to integrate further my reality to be perverse. He wanted to provoke me. Have we been there before? I've killed him before. The time it takes to come back from Abby death is time to think. But this time he was angry.
Oh.
We're the only ones left. It makes things intense for us. He felt the failure of our great story the hardest. Those his ideas that sacrifice be the heart of it. I guess it was too early.
So she killed him. I guess I was assuming when she said she killed him, I thought she meant she killed him in a way that she understood as being what we understand death to be, but she was using it in sort of a more human, colloquial way. So she, like, bludgeoned him to death or whatever, not in a way that would be permanent, just in a way that would give him a timeout. Except not quite the way she was hoping. Also, when she says our great story, is she talking about Minsky? I mean, it looks like a movie I would enjoy, but I like lots of... I wonder if she might have perhaps too high an estimation of this. Okay, so see, on this one, she doesn't have two different zones on her face. I want to go back to that other clip.
Tech rehearsal starts in an hour.
An apple a day keeps the doctor.
This isn't the right clip at all. What am I doing? I don't know. Yeah, she definitely doesn't have two zones on her face here. I wonder, what is this?
I don't even know your...
That is not a good match. I guess it's just like the concept of pottery. Well, apparently we still got lots of Minsky footage left to see.
Scene 32A, take 2.
Action. I don't have visitors very often. I mostly just sleep here.
This is not what I was expecting of a cop's apartment. You running a racket on the side?
I inherited it from my parents. They owned a chain of clothing stores, but they died when I was a teenager.
So you're rich. And you chose to be a cop. Oh, Detective Goodman, you're more fucked up than I thought.
It's an original.
Yeah, I know. It's me. You've had this all this time?
2 years.
I thought I was seducing you. Have I ever been more to you than this? You're seeing me through Minsky's eyes.
Oh, that's a coincidence.
Who were you fucking 2 hours ago?
I was fucking you.
And who do you think I am?
You're you.
Huh? What am I?
You're Franny.
I don't even know your first name. You don't know who I am. You don't know anything about me.
I know you.
No, you don't. You want to know who I am? I'm the one who killed Minsky. I told him I was going to leave him. He told me I could only leave him when he said.
Cut.
He has no idea what you are. He thinks you're his.
That's weird. It's weird that they're both reacting like this is some kind of like unusual difficulty, because like this has been the deal for their entire lives, right? You take over a body, you pretend to be somebody. The whole point of pretending to be somebody is that nobody else knows that you're actually the person. I don't know. That's very strange. It's very strange that they're behaving this way in this clip. Is this zone the necklace? Yeah, okay.
Scene 34B, take one.
Action.
Now you know what happened. Now you know who I am. You still like it? It's a little more complicated than her.
It's complicated.
Isn't this what you're looking for? A confession? Now you can close the case.
No, I can't close the case.
I'm touched. But your first name is Detective.
It's Alan. That cop part of me doesn't need to know everything Alan knows.
You can do that?
I think so.
And Olga?
I don't know. Cut.
Work with me here. I need a minute.
It's a difficult scene.
Okay, well, us having seen what we just saw kind of gives context for this, where... Still don't quite know what to make of it. There's some kind of tension between them that's bleeding through into this. When are we exactly? 8:27, so... Okay, what's interesting about this is 8:26, when the other one is telling her he doesn't know what you are, he still thinks you're his, is considerably... This is more than 2 weeks after the date on the clip that we saw where she killed John. But we don't know that the events that happen in the sort of the backwards realm, however you want to put it, the reverse clips, we don't know that they're actually linked temporally to the clip that they appear out of. One assumes that, you know, this did not happen literally in this bed with a camera running on them. So, I don't know. Hard to say. There's still so many unknowns. There's still so much. How does any of this work? I want to stay in this scene for a minute. Let's. Oh, okay. That's not what I was expecting. I was expecting it to jump to another instance of that painting, which would keep us in that room. But I guess the painting is of Franny. So yeah, just any scene where Franny appears. Sure.
Scene 21A, take one.
You ready now? Action.
Is it against the rules to make love to a suspect?
Is that making love?
It was art. We're in a studio. Everything that happens here is art.
How many pictures of you did he make?
He wasn't counting. It's been 4 years.
Is that one you? It looks different.
No, that's Olga. You can tell because she looks sad. He always painted her sad. She was Minsky's muse before I met him. She's crazy. But she's in Moscow. Minsky sent her back home. She writes him every week. He used to make me read the letters to him. Thought I could learn from Olga's example. Even after he abandoned her, she was devoted. But her recent letters were more angry.
She talks about killing herself. Are there others?
No, he made me burn them after I read them. But she's in Moscow.
Oh, those earrings. The face. I saw her at the gallery.
You sure? Her?
Yeah, that's her. She was at the show.
Cut. That was a little off. Carl, let Marissa lead things.
He's like, I'm sorry. What the fuck does that mean? In what sense? All right, we did definitely get a little something here. All right, I think it was around here. Maybe not. Maybe I imagined it. There it is. Okay.
Do you think he's an artist? Do you think he elevates you?
Movies are art. He's an artist.
He's a child playing.
Millions what?
In 100 years?
Yeah, no, probably the filmography of John Durick is not going to be celebrated in a century. But, you know, listen, a lot of other shit's going to happen by 2070. I don't know exactly what their connection to time is, but climate change, celluloid film, something, something, you know. Shit's complicated, okay? So, here we're at, again, apparently after... I mean, it's entirely possible that they're experiencing time in a way that we don't experience it, right? I think she suggests as much. I don't remember exactly what it was during the long interview she gives the talk show host. But there was definitely something she said that made me think Tralfamadorians. Like, I remember having the thought that maybe they are like the aliens from Slaughterhouse-5. And now that I've said it out loud, I'm realizing I'm not 100% sure that that's where all those letters go. You know what I'm curious about? What happens if I click on the John Durick as we see him here?
I do believe you've made John jealous with your...
Oh, hello.
Do you like it?
It's wonderful. How is it being on the other side of the camera, hair director?
He thinks that if he gives you presents, he'll let him make you one of his superstars.
Andy, I do believe you've made John jealous with your gift.
Marissa was already a star before she came to town. I'm just being nice.
Well, that's good to hear. I intend to make Marissa a star for more than 15 minutes.
You boys, you're being so macho with each other. Why don't you just make it up and kiss? There is nothing more cinematic than a kiss. Kiss, 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 kiss.
Okay, no.
And I thought you liked blue movies.
The portrayal here, not the I know who the character is supposed to be, but I'm not 100. The actor, it feels like I know who's playing him, but it's gonna drive me crazy. But I also don't want to look it up for fear of not being able to look that up without, causing spoilers. I mean, obviously, we're gonna
Okay.
Damn it, no, a little bit less. Just out of curiosity. Okay. Just like straight up acknowledging, yeah, we put a guy in a bad wig. yes, we did. All right, fine. Fair enough. That is amusing.
Scene 22B, take one.
Action. You really?
Well, someone didn't waste too much time. Minsky's body is still warm.
Oh, sorry.
We're the wrong way around. Keep rolling from the top. Action. Billy?
Well, someone didn't waste too much time. Minsky's body is still warm.
You look different, detective. Did you lose your virginity?
Detective Goodman thinks that Minsky's ex is in town. Olga Rachnoff?
And here's me thinking this is a social call.
Is he still a cop?
I think so.
Have you seen Olga? I saw her at the Minsky show. She was wearing some special earrings, Minsky originals.
She's Minsky's type. Eastern European beauty queens with nice tits. No offense, Franny. I think I've seen her around.
I've seen her in '88. She sits at the bar and eyeballs everyone coming in.
88.
Oh, you're gonna like this.
Ah, that line. 88. Is it me or is it the line? Club 88? But what's an 88?
Do we need it?
How did I see it in the reads?
We can just pick this up in the close-up, right, John?
Yes, Marissa, cut.
He seems a little altered. Hold on. I want to go back to the wig. So none of this is like particularly... I mean, not to say that it's not like fun filmmaking or whatever, but it's not interesting to us. It's not interesting for our purposes. This is all stuff that we like approximately knew had to be in the film.
Why don't you just make it up?
Is that it? Is that all we get? If I click direct, if I make sure I'm clicking on his face, yeah, the only place it takes us is here. Out of curiosity, how many zones do we have here? Oh, interesting. What's this one? Okay, it's the furniture. I think this is new too. We've definitely seen plenty of clips in this room, but
Rehearsal, scene 29.
Minsky's studio. There's a heater in the middle of the room. Goodman, you're drying out, half dressed from the chase in the rain, half in your drag from the club. Franny approaches, wrapped in a big sheet with a bundle in her hands.
Decadence suits you.
You think Olga did it?
I lied about burning her letters. I told Minsky I did, but I kept them. Wanted to preserve her voice for posterity.
What's in them?
She loved him. She begged him to take her back. But she also remembered the bad stuff. She gave a necklace he made her as a gift to a friend. He was so angry he put a cigarette out in her face. If you look in his green portrait 32, you can see the burn mark. He painted it in. Olga was 15 when they met. In the same way he repainted and repainted to reduce his paintings to pure form, he broke his girls down until they were the forms he wanted. But when he's done with you, you have nothing left. The rest of the world is just negative space.
Was he done with you?
No. I was different. I was done with him.
You slowly, tenderly make love, sitting up in the glow of the heater. Okay, let's make this exploratory conversation. Marissa, how would you want Carl to touch you if this were you?
He should kiss my neck and shoulders, then pull my hair.
Carl, how would you want Marissa to touch you?
This is all good. I mean, let me think about it, okay?
Goodman looks out the studio window. He stops. Sees Olga in the window across the street, looking directly in the studio. Goodman is dumbstruck. Sorry, I was trying to react. And we cut.
So we've seen the film version of this. That's really interesting. I wonder if we're supposed to be able to divine anything of value from the differences between the rehearsal version of the scene and the actual filmed version of the scene. It's been a while since we watched it. I guess let's go do that. I don't believe it has that bit at the end where he sees Olga in the window, right? Because that's the first scene where we saw him in makeup, which is this one.
Scene 29C, take 2.
Action.
Decadence suits you.
You think Olga did it?
I lied about burning her letters. I told Minsky I did, but I kept them. Wanted to preserve her voice for posterity.
What's in them?
She loved him. She begged him to take her back. But she also remembered the bad stuff. She gave a necklace he made her as a gift to a friend. He was so angry he put a cigarette out in her face. If you look at his green portrait 32, you can see the burn mark. He painted it in.
Jesus Christ.
Olga was 15 when they met. In the same way he repainted and repainted to reduce his paintings to pure form, he broke his girls down until they were the forms he wanted. But when he's done with you, you have nothing left. The rest of the world is just negative space.
Was he done with you?
No, I was different. I was done with him.
Okay, let's go again from the top where the touch bartender is.
Okay, because there's a cut in there because the performance was perhaps not exactly what we were looking for. Have we seen the thing that's encoded in here? Because we did get the sound there, kind of faintly.
There's a chain. It's very visible if you're sat outside of things. Arthur Fisher and John Durick run that chain. Ideas, traditions, technique, organic matter gets passed along. Fisher passed me on to Durick, or Durick took me, or I chose to go. It's hard to say. They both wanted to claim me as theirs. There's a life cycle to an artist. And it's very important to get the timing right, to prune, to use one, to fertilize another. With John, it was the first time I put myself into the chain.
Okay, that's very interesting. So maybe the effect, maybe whatever it is that's sort of like breaking her down over time doesn't have to do with the challenge or the difficulty of maintaining two bodies simultaneously, but rather it's a more abstract thing of her actually like having to not just take part in creation, but sort of like, I don't know how I want to put it, because I don't want to say like to like actually expend creative energy, because like obviously the actors and actresses in film are doing the art as well, but you know what I mean, like being the one who sort of like comes up with it rather than the one who performs it is a different sort of thing. The first time she'd ever put herself into the chain. And again, it's interesting that she talks about it as though she's not even sure if she had agency, because it does, once again, make me think of the Slaughterhouse-5 aliens, right? All she knows about Fisher, about her to Fisher to Durick is so it goes. Yeah, I just don't know what... First of all, I don't know what to make of any of the new information we've gathered, and secondly, I still don't know how to find my way to the end of the damn... Like, where did it go from Nosebleed? Wait, really? That's strange. Oh, right, the two of them together are showing up as one zone, I think, because of course they are, because they're him. They're the same person. They're her rather. See, another one of these things where we get two slightly different. I guess clicking on the TV is likely to lead us to a bit from this movie, right? Nope, never mind. They are fine. They're fine jumping us back to a different, older television. Well, fine then.
What do you think?
Works. I think Marissa looks sexy in whatever she wears.
I need to pull these off pretty quick in the scene.
I can loosen them up for that scene or have a second pair.
The top works great, though.
What about a princess?
Ready?
There'll be makeup on the day.
It's fucking sexy. Don't we make a great couple? Smile, love.
You ever cross-dressed before, Carl?
No, sir.
Just an apple pie eating, football playing California boy.
An American classic.
I want you two go take a test drive for the outfits.
Oh, yes.
How so?
Well, go grab some drinks on Gino's Dollar. Take a walk in the wild.
Come on.
She's gonna eat him alive.
You can definitely see the difference between Carl and the other one, Carl. Also, the look does already work on him. The makeup helps, but oof. We should all be so lucky as to have his figure. Wasn't terribly useful, though. Gosh, where do we go from here? Like, what is even a strategy to pursue? So this scene is after the bloody nose. All right, let's continue to just try with actors that are in this film. Okay, something. Looks earlier to me, but 6:29.
Scene 40 Alpha, take 1.
I didn't actually note the date of the nosebleed clip, so probably should have.
This is really tight. Just so you know, I need to be able to breathe if I'm gonna dance.
You'll quick change after 2 of us. Aaron here will stitch you in 10 seconds flat.
Oh, okay, cool.
This isn't going to work.
What?
The panty.
My panty?
Well, you can see through the gown. It ruins your beautiful little bottom. Take them off.
What? Now?
Yes. Take them off.
The dress is really tight. I don't know if I can...
No problem. I'll cut them off of you. There you go. Now then, let's take a look at this beautiful gown. Something for Andrew's memorabilia collection.
Cut. Rolling in.
Okay, let's get a quick reset on the panties. Can I take these?
Huh. The sound happened and she like totally checked out of reality for a second there while the sound was happening. I'm very curious where this is going. I do want to say also that I did actually really like Marissa's performance after the snip happened. Like, she still turns when she's told to turn, but you can see that like you can see the almost the hauntedness on her face, like realizing what has just happened. These movies are not all bad. I don't want to sound like I think these are like total schlock garbage or anything. Not that I would say such a thing as a pejorative necessarily anyway. I like schlock. Anyway, focus.
Part of being human was Amy. It was not my intention to take a muse as a lover, but I found myself repeating that pattern. Amy asked very little of me, apart from my brilliance. Through her, I wanted to engage with the pressures that shape our art. Amy only felt alive when she was playing a part. I wanted to help her surpass herself. But each movie we made was less good. The other one had always said that the human story is always a crime. And I started to feel that every time I looked at Amy.
They cast an almost comically evil looking person as the other one, which I do appreciate. So this is not the first time Amy's been mentioned. I have some not that helpful notes because I didn't fucking make a note of where they came from. About Amy, the lines, Amy did it and Amy's still here in the dialogue somewhere. Really wish I had made a note of where that was. I can probably go find it. Maybe. Okay. I think we're going to call it here real soon, but I want to go watch the John gets choked out clip one more time before we do. Which is... where is that? I always have so much trouble finding it. Even though it's like... yeah, okay, here it is. Even though it's quite obvious to look at it.
The model who paints is amusing.
thought you were. What I thought you were. It's a lot. What you did was horrific.
I wanted to be like you.
I thought you wanted to be with me.
It's the same.
Should I be scared of you?
This isn't the reaction that I wanted.
What happened?
The other one told me you'd disappoint me.
He's dead. I was trying to help you. I made this movie for you.
For yourself.
Right. I had forgotten about the part where she takes a bite out of him. Well, shit. That wasn't helpful at all. Okay, calling it. This is where we're gonna call it. I'm gonna call it here for today. That's gonna be it for us. Thank you so much for watching. All right, I'm gonna just in case it was driving you crazy too. I am gonna before we drop out here, I am just really quickly gonna look up Immortality. Who is playing Andy Warhol? Who plays Andy Warhol? That's not a super helpful. Yeah, okay. This Google search not good, and I don't wanna like try to Wikipedia Immortality or anything for fear that I will get more information than I am looking for. So, never mind. We'll figure it out later. This is one of the pressing questions to which we must return. So, thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, Tuesday, ? We are going to continue digging here. At the very least, I need to know what happens at the end. I will slowly go mad if I don't find out what happens at the end. And then after that, I suppose, we'll just see if we're satisfied. And we'll see you then.